started. Come on. Put my headphones on. Ready? You guys ready? I'm ready. Feel ready. Hold on. Show, and I got a plane to catch. It's crazy, and then here we go. And 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Hey, look at that. Oh, my hair's tucked into the back of my shirt. Hi. Yeah, I'm wearing a button down. Sorry, I'm doing laundry, and I'm like, I was wearing a tank top till about 10 seconds ago, and I just don't know if it's appropriate for a semi-news show like I do. Hi, welcome to the show. Glad you could be here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Do all the things that you're supposed to do to try and keep a show like this on the air if you actually like it. If you hate it, all you have to do is keep watching and troll the chat room a little bit. I mean, if you do anything too extreme, we got to kick you out because, there's racial epithets and crap like that won't stand. But anything short of that, knock yourself out. I don't care. You have no power here. You're adorable. All right. And I think, are we up and running? There we go. The FCC's okay with my tank top? Okay. Oh, and hi, how you doing? Good, about to go on a boat. This is I need a linen white version of this shirt so I can be all Miami Vice. We'll do it live. We did not pack Chip, although he tried to pack himself. And Murphy and Molly, no, Murphy and Maddie both were in Summer's suitcase while she was trying to pack. It was crazy pants, as you might expect. All right, let's jump in because I don't want to run out of time. I got a plane to catch tonight. We're flying out on a red eye, getting in at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Dilly-dallying at a hotel, so no morning show tomorrow because I don't know how in the world we'll manage that. But in theory, regular show tomorrow night from the boat. First, this will be the first Hal Sparks Megaworldwide at sea. I should have come up with a graphic already. That was a mistake. Why didn't I do that? See that I feel bad now. Now I have to come up with some sort of. I could use that like crappy Ecamm Live beach thing behind me. But that seems like cheating. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so we'll be I'm on the Monsters of Rock cruise starting tomorrow. For those of you that don't know, till Monday, performing with Nerd Halen, and I will also on the boat be doing stand up, and I will be doing the 80s. It's mostly, but there's like one group kind of jam going on. I'm doing a Rat song and a Scorpion song. And then on the Cheap Trick show, the Budokan reboot, remake, salute, and cover, we're doing the whole Cheap Trick and Budokan album. I'm doing Auf Wiedersehen. So I'll be singing that. And then what else? Oh, and then Nerd Halen has 2 shows. And we're going to have a photo moment, like a meet and grope, basically, on the boat. This is a big step for us, as a fledgling comedy cover band that brings our A game, even we're Nerd Halen, so our A+ game, and we're very excited. Everybody's very excited. We've been right up to the last minute. Caleb, our guitar player, is like, is everybody okay? You got your documents? Are you going to be on the boat? You're not going to miss your flight, are you? We're going to be fine. It's so great. Yeah. So, yeah, Nerd Halen is a great time coming to a town near you sometime. But, so there'll be plenty of pics, and I will post as much video as I possibly can. I'm bringing my 360 camera. Hopefully that'll be fun. God knows there'll be craziness. So, I'm also going ashore, so I will be sea-doing at some point, I think. I want to scuba. Summer doesn't scuba. I want to scuba. Summer does not scuba. So I will be the lone scuba. What? Ruh-roh. No. I will be scubaing alone, I think. Can you boat to the Great Lakes? That would be a great idea, actually. I will be in Michigan 4 shows in March. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, I think it is. Details to come. One night only in a couple of different places. I'm in Grand Rapids and the surrounding area and just driving around gig to gig. It's going to be a good time. Meanwhile, anybody remember Dred Zeppelin? Of course. And then you and your 20. Yeah. Good times. And then does she snorkel? No, she does not. No, yes, no jellyfish. Although I will make sure to drink plenty of iced tea in case there are any jellyfish. I'll make sure that we're covered. What? All right. So yes, and Magoo. Let's get started. There's too much show today, and I got, like I said, oftentimes I've got to jump straight in. This is the first one. Newsmax and Fox and all these guys are selling this big like faux Americana bullshit while basically crapping all over America nonstop. We'll watch below their little crawl that happens here. It will be very telling about what their focus is on. But this is called Jeff Van Drew, The Russians Think We're a Joke, on a show called Saturday Agenda, which, by the way, look, I recognize that I'm feet deep in this nonsense most of the time. I'm ankle deep in this constantly. But if you have to have an agenda on Saturday, you're doing it wrong. Saturday is an agendaless day. I don't know did I see Bungholio's cell phone on Fox? No, I didn't, but I'm very excited to see it, Kathy. We will deal with it, I hope. Yeah. Anyways, so this is one of their Saturday shows. I don't think we've ever done this, but this is a Republican from New Jersey who is talking about, this is just their description. I don't know what's in the video. I don't pre-watch it. This is their thing. Rep. Jeff Van Drew gives his thoughts on the possibility of Russia invading Ukraine via Saturday Agenda on Newsmax. Very exciting. Oh, it was Saturday Agenda. Let's see it. All right, very exciting.
All eyes on Russia, where Russia continues to build up its military presence along Ukraine's border and in other.
I'm sorry. I did not know who the host was or who's on that show, so I had like a flashback to an overdue book at the library.
Surrounding regions. Mm-hmm. The Pentagon warning Russia currently has.
Yes, they've already invaded and taken over all the playgrounds.
Enough troops and equipment at Ukraine's border.
The guy's working on his lower pecs, just so you know.
To invade the whole country. Joining us now for reaction is New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew.
Okay, do you have to look like a villain in a 1930s cartoon? Honestly, I've never seen the Monopoly Man with his hat off, but it's revealing.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
Yes, it's nice to be here, fresh from the children's department where I bought this tie.
Do you think Russia right now, an invasion to Ukraine is imminent? I know that both the House and the Senate were given a classified briefing on the situation.
Yes, it's a classified briefing. Can you tell us what was in the classified briefing, since you're a Republican and you don't seem to give a rat's ass?
Situation there, and there seemed to be lawmakers.
Yes, there is a bit of My Favorite Martian going on here. Yeah, he's got a real Dr. Smith energy, this dude.
Emerged from that meeting believing that this threat was imminent.
Certainly the threat is real. Certainly there's a possibility it's imminent. You never know what's in Putin's mind, except one thing that we do know. He knows that President Joe Biden, and this majority Congress is weak.
Why the fuck would he think that? I mean, obviously, you're in the minority in the Congress, so it just pays politically for you to say that. But you do realize that in the negotiation that's going on between, just for context, NATO is completely all on the same setup. They're all on the same strategy. Don't think for a second they aren't. But you've got certain countries doing carrot, other countries doing stick. The United States and the UK are all stick, and France and Germany are in charge of, how would Trump put it?
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Carrot.
That's right. So she's actually running that, I think Carrot Pence is in charge of that. So Trump, the idea is that Biden is weak and the Democrats in the House are weak. And therefore that's what Putin knows. That's why he's so angry at Macron right now, whatever.
He knows that no sanctions have been put in place yet. Quite frankly,
Well, yeah, they're giving him some room to wiggle, dumb fuck. If you put the sanctions on, what has he got to lose? If the idea is, if you take the land, we put on sanctions. If we go ahead and put on the sanctions, why the fuck does he go, well, I might as well just take the land. If you're going to smack me no matter what I do, might as well do what I want. Great strategic minds over at the Republican Party. Obviously, he went to the Steve Bannon School of Tactical Thinking. That's why he's doing the show in front of his fireplace.
we should have moved quickly on severe sanctions and should have moved quickly and never allow the Nord Stream 2 pipeline to flow, which makes Europe more dependent.
We don't have the right to do that, fucko. We don't ultimately. It's two other fucking countries. Unless you guys want Russia and or Germany to be the 51st and 52nd state. Yeah.
On Russia. Frankly, we should have, committed to actions in Afghanistan that made sense. And
oh, you mean staying? Sorry, I'm just getting hold on, I'm getting a call. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'll tell him. Fuck you.
Created respect around the world. Other than that, they're actually disrespecting us because...
Are they? They're disrespecting us. Oh my God. I don't even know if I'm going to go on a second date with them then.
We had committed to a terrible operation there. And we're committing our troops. What we're saying in legislation, which I obviously don't vote for, is...
U.S. to deploy 3,000 troops to Eastern Europe. By the way, they're already there. They arrived yesterday? Yeah.
Our troops and that our military should...
hold on. We got 666 people in the chat. It's time for that $6.66 super chat if you want to help out. Hello, Scotland. I love you guys. Can't wait to get back over there. Scotland. My newly found ancestry.
Concentrating on climate change and concentrating on getting vaxxed. We've really got to get down to the real issues. One word, strong.
Yes, I can smell you all the way over here. One word, strong. And then an excellent freeze frame, both of them. Like, she's got this, fuck off with this. And he's like, one word, strong. It's like a Martin Short character. Oh, thanks,
Republicans
Kathy.
have really been pushing for robust action when it comes to Russia in deterring them before, as you mentioned, preemptive sanctions. But after that...
Yes, preemptive sanctions. Beyond the sanctions we already have on that Trump delayed till the last fucking second. And again, what the fuck is the point in not invading if you throw all your sanctions against the wall? Because quite frankly, the only way that Putin would have to make up the money lost from the sanctions is to seize Ukraine and all of its resources. What are you going to do? Put him on and then take him off when he, leaves, moves away? It's his territory.
Briefing. Were there any Democratic lawmakers who felt that there were a need to strengthen those sanctions? I know that they're working on that draft legislation now.
Yeah, they're Democratic. I mean, there are some. It's hard to see where they're going because, again, they are just so, focused on vax mandates for the military. You hear more about that than you do this. There's...
No, you don't. Have you been to work in days? Does this fucker show up for his job, New Jersey?
Focused on and literally committing money and putting it in legislation that climate change would be a major response.
This is the Russian war games. This is how they expect Ukraine to play out. Them with shields and armaments against a bunch of people in North Face jackets and toques. Are these fuckers invading Ukraine or Canada? Hey, Sterling.
Ability and charge of the military. That doesn't create any strength or...
Everyone, join together, push together, get squashed, like that kind of thing. Hey, look. Hold on. Let me tell you something. This guy knows what he's talking about. This fellow right here, the little leprechaun in the suit from 1925. This guy, amazing. here, these are our guys are all gathering. This is, by the way, this isn't even from Russian battle plan for Ukraine. This is from last Thanksgiving. Russian Thanksgiving, you get half the family with shields, the other half of the family unarmed and blindfolded, and it's our version of the wishbone. Sorry.
Of strength to the Russians. I mean, right now,
Hold on. Oh shit. Seriously, I swear I left the body out here somewhere. Blonde, 5'5". She had the microfilm on her. Does any sound familiar to you guys? Look, just kick the leaves. I know I buried her somewhere.
Russians think we're a joke. I mean, we would never be in this.
Well, we don't think you're all a joke. Obviously, your military scares the living shit out of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be threatening you with nukes. If we thought we could win, fisticuff to fisticuff, well, it wouldn't even be a thing. But you in particular, I find fucking hilarious. Honestly, if you showed up, I would ask you if you're here to distribute cigars.
Situation, if they respected our force, our power, and that we were doing the right thing. So the best thing that we can do right now, from one congressman's point of view, is to actually, make sure that we have harsh, strong, powerful sanctions.
Strong,
and
powerful, sexy sanctions. Dirty, filthy sanctions that will make them do what we want them to do.
Economic in nature, do them early. We should not put boots on the ground.
Yeah, agreed. It's fucking freezing here. We've got boots on the ground and it fucking sucks. All right. By the way, we're not putting boots on the ground. Our soldiers are going to Poland and Germany, where they were before Trump took them out.
And Congressman, Senator Marco Rubio said that this is the most
Congressman, and I use that in the loosest possible terms,
significant threat in Europe since 1945. It's just that simple. He called a Russian invasion a near certainty at this point. In terms of implementing something that would be enough.
He just had gas when she said that. A near certainty. And here I've been talking about sanctions all afternoon. I don't sound macho at all.
A deterrent for Russian President Vladimir Putin. When you talk about stronger sanctions, what does that look like?
Yeah, tell us. Let's hear it. We're going to cut off the vodka pipeline. What's happening?
It looks like, for example, oil. Certainly not letting the oil flow. It looks like.
And how do we not let the oil flow? Do we bomb their tankers? Oh, right. No. What we would do, if we had any forethought, is allow their pipelines to be built so that they rely 100% on them so that we can stop their oil flow without having to kill anyone. But instead, this fucko wants us to not have Nord Stream 2 running, where they can have, we can normalize behavior between Russia and Europe. And he just wants boats and fucking trucks, and that we have to sink and murder people if we want to stop the flow. So that basically Russia can use their own people as human shields against this kind of sanction. Fucking hell.
Goods and services that they depend on.
Yes, we're gonna stop the flow of what do Russians want from corn?
They won't receive, which is going to put a lot of pressure, obviously.
Like what? Right, and Nord Stream is a gas pipeline, true, but it's a natural gas is an after product of oil drilling. So there you go.
Their people. It looks like letting him know that we're real serious about this. But see,
well, dude, you're not letting him know if you're real serious about it if you just fucking do it. Because then he'll go, well, then I'm real serious about killing a bunch of Ukrainians.
Day late, $1 short. And he knows that. He absolutely knows that. This is a smart man. This is a KGB guy. So,
yeah, he's a murderer who has he's a hammer. And what this asshole is presenting is a series of actual nails.
He knows what he's doing, and I think
No, he does not. He fucking well doesn't. He's painted himself into a corner. He thought the West and everybody else was just going to go, all right, we promise, here, we'll sign a thing. No NATO in Ukraine, fuck off. We'll allow you to dictate what sovereign countries can do with their time, energy, and their military. That's what we're going to let you decide that. Not let us democratically decide. They can join or not join. That's up to them. That seems normal and human, whereas Putin goes, no, I'll tell you what, if you try to make them join, I'll kill my own second cousins. The hell? What a fucking cartoon. No wonder he dresses like a cartoon character.
Ready to go. And we're in a situation where nobody wants to put boots on the ground. But I tell you, we should give every piece of armament, anything that we can give.
We did, dum-dum.
To help these poor Ukrainians defend themselves in some way.
We are, fucko. Again, show up for work. Do the people of New Jersey know that this asshole can't read?
We should get all kinds of arms and all kinds of military wear over there so that they can do it.
Oh, by the way, to Jimmy in the chat room, I'm not saying Putin is dumb. I'm saying he's too singularly focused for the challenge that's in front of him. He thinks this is going to solve it. So, I don't care. Smart in the wrong venue is dumb. That's a Sparksism.
It's still going to be hard. I mean, the troop growth is great. And you know what's interesting? After he met with Biden, he actually had reduced the troop number a little bit. But
that's weird.
After he spoke with and evaluated Biden, he even has increased it more. That's not a good.
No, he hasn't. He sent plasma to the front, dummy. He spoke to Putin and went, all right, we're going to lose some soldiers if we decide to do this. It won't be like last time. We're going to lose 30,000 soldiers. They're going to die. We're going to have a bunch of injured and dead, and the people of Russia are going to be like, what the fuck was that about? Why don't we just rent the space from the Ukrainians? These are my family over there.
Fine.
Congressman, turning now to the U.S. raid that killed that ISIS leader. 13 people were killed in that, 6 children, 4 women. Here's President Biden defending that raid.
Yes, by the way, the guy blew himself up.
Knowing that this terrorist had chosen to surround himself with families, including children, we made a choice to pursue a special forces raid at a much greater risk than to our own people, rather than targeting him with an airstrike.
Given the fact that Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurashi was basically replaced, the previous ISIS leader days after he was killed.
You mean when Trump killed that dude and was like, we did it, high five, and then the next guy moved up like a fucking Pez dispenser?
When you weigh the pros and cons of a raid like this, and certainly the fact that a lot of this is going to get turned into propaganda for ISIS and recruitment, what?
It is. Come join us. If you don't want to fight on the front lines, you can hang around, and maybe if they target one of our guys, you'll just be caught you'll be shrapnel. What? Yeah, this is, fulfill your dream today of going up in a suicide bombing while you're eating cornflakes 1 floor below.
Make of the timing of this and how necessary it was to do this now with these civilian casualties in play?
Well, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but the truth is here, again, our military is off focus. We don't have the right people always making the right decisions. Now, I have to tell you, I respect the brave men and women that were there and did their job and did what they were told to do. These are our American heroes, and they did nothing wrong, and they truly don't. They just literally put their lives in harm's way. But whether this was executed properly again, whether the timing was right, whether we could have avoided civilians and others getting hurt, that's never a good thing. I would have liked to have seen a much smoother, cleaner, purposeful.
Yeah, you know what? And by the way, for the record, Trump did have a plan to take this guy out. 2 weeks away, too. If they'd only waited 2 more weeks.
Operation similar to what President Trump did when he was in. So again,
you mean when he did an airstrike on a vehicle with an actual member of the Iranian military, not some rando ISIS fucker in another country that has no alignment with the government, therefore you can take him out and it's not a problem. That in Iraq is where they killed him under Trump. So now the Iraqis have to deal with the idea that they must have told the Americans where he was and that kind of shit. And then they lose a bunch of people. And if they had any spies in that network at all, they're fucking dead.
We're focusing on everything what the military should be focusing on, which is actually going ahead with these actions, doing it the right way, being, strong, focused, and
powerful and strong. Did he say strong again? Did I mention strong?
About how to do it without creating needless problems. And we seem with whatever we do right now.
Needless problems. That's how he views civilian casualties. I think. I don't even know that he minds the civilian casualties. I take that back. 29K,
His
look
president
out.
and his administration to always have problems associated with everything.
Yeah. Congressman Jeff Andrew, we really appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
Yes, and have fun back at Keebler headquarters. Let us know how, is there any insight you can give us on how to pick a chance card that will work out best for us? That's my question. And what is all this Park Avenue bullshit? Can't you make more money on utilities?
My pleasure. It was good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Also, is that an American molar on his jacket? It looks like a tooth. I'm sure it's something, but it looks like a tooth. All right. Great work, guys. That was terrific. So America's weak and Putin thinks we're a joke because he was in the KGB and that makes him smart. Okay, that's all you need. I mean, what more could you want from Newsmax? I mean, look, they've got the red, they got the mostly blue and white, which is strange considering how anti-blue they are, I guess. All right, we'll find out. Now, this is Pence just destroyed any decent legacy he had. So if you don't know, Mike Pence said something normal and sensible 11 months too late. And all of a sudden he's persona non grata in the Republican Party and they hate him and he's got to be taken down or some shit. Handle oil. Well, he didn't buy the oil when he could get it for free.
Right in the middle of all of this, he's been subpoenaed by the Democrats January 6th unselect
Pence
committee. I'm talking about former White House advisor to President Trump. He is the host of the Gorka Reality Check here on Newsmax.
And he's wonderfully lit by some sort of bathroom light bulb over his head, or I don't know, it's quality. I didn't realize they let you sit under a street light under the bridge. This is where he moonlights as a goblin.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka is here. Dr. G, what do you?
It's Gorka, not Corka. And I honestly don't give a fuck. Please continue to mispronounce his stupid name.
Of Mike Pence's.
Also, what's with the head clearance? Who is your cameraman? Andrew Giuliani? I mean, honestly.
Statements.
Grant, I'm going to say this once and hopefully never again. I don't know why you invited me on this segment, because that introduction was exactly what I was going to say and was a perfect summary. Okay?
That's great. And terrific, because they didn't put it in the clip. So for posterity's sake, all those hardworking folks over at Newsmax, I know some of you watch my show because you're very angry. Next time, if one of your guests references something that happened 10, 15 seconds before you start the clip, but maybe add that to the top of the clip so that people know what the fuck you're talking about. No? Why am I helping you? I mean, look, they call you, you work at Fiverr, and you do your best. You know what? You're not getting paid enough to do this extra work. I take it back.
Look, nobody, Mike, nobody was demanding you overturn anything. Stop blowing smoke.
Yeah, I was. Dude, he literally sent people down there like, I want you to walk down there peacefully and patriotically, but if they don't do what you want, you're going to have to fight or you're not going to have a country back. Like, basically, don't tear up the grass on the way over there, but if Mike Pence hasn't stopped this shit by the time you arrive at the Capitol, fuck some shit up.
Lying, Mike, and you are destroying your reputation. What President Trump wanted, what I wanted, what every reasonable person wanted, is for you to send those results back to the state.
Yeah, that's unreasonable and stupid. There was no verification, no reasoning, no logic behind doing that at all. All the attempts to try and overturn it before it all failed. Fuck you, no.
The constitutional right in the electoral system to provide those electoral college results to you as the president of the Senate.
Nope.
And to ask them, hey.
By the way, as the president of the Senate, he's not in control of the Senate. He's the presider. He presides over it. He basically keeps order while the work gets done. He ain't the work. Any more than Kamala Harris is. She can vote with her party as an extension as the president. She can do a singular vote. But she doesn't say, well, my vote overrides all those votes. You split down the middle 50-50, I can wipe out, we don't even have a filibuster, 60-40, got it. If that was her capability, it would have also been Mike Pence's capability, and neither one of them has that power, nor would you want them to, because that's fucking dumb.
In accord with your state constitutions, because they weren't. Governors can't willy-nilly like in...
Yes, they can. They all declared emergencies. Everything, every state and the entire federal government was under a state of emergency. Under those state of emergencies, you can modify election rules so that more people could vote because they can't go out and stand in line and spread an infectious disease. Every single one of them. Every state has special emergency. If there's a fucking flood or there's a tornado and it's on the week leading up to election day and it wipes out roads, the governor does not have to pull together the Senate in any particular state, in any of these states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona, any of these fucking states. If they have a natural disaster that makes it nearly impossible for a huge swath of the populace to go out and vote, whether it's a pandemic or a fucking tornado or a hurricane or something, the governor doesn't have to pull them together, have them argue on a bill, pass it, and sign it to get the fucking votes happening. They can just go, it's an emergency. We're going to move this voting place over there because we don't want people to drown. All of it's under there. Like, none of this violated any state. Like, they've made this argument so many fucking times, and it's the dullest argument. And I don't know why. I mean, I know why they would, because they don't, they, like Jimmy Dore, don't believe we live in a democracy and democracy sucks. And so they just want the control to be in the upper houses of wherever they are. So the Senate, the Electoral College, and the governors themselves can just kind of willy-nilly control hand the government to whoever they like. And then they can outnumber certain states, even with lower population, because the states have, an equal number of governors, that kind of shit. They figure, we'll outnumber them with red states, even if they've got a fucking, 200,000 people in them. None of these states broke the law. None of these states violated their constitutions, their state constitutions about voting. Not a one. Because every single one of them was under a national emergency order signed by who is fucking president? And then individually, all of these states have signed these same orders. All the states were signing their state emergency orders, and the federal government did a blanket one over the entire fucking country. None of this matters. It's all, they've made this fucking argument for months, and we never really jumped on any of it because it's just it's been a waste of time. But it's, it's nice to just cover it, if I could, just for a second.
Virginia, say, for the first time in the Commonwealth's history, we're not going to check the signatures on ballots. That's illegal.
No, it isn't. You can't, in a pandemic, you can't order people to have their votes only count if there's another person in the fucking house with them that might bring the disease over. Are you out of your fucking mind? Single mom, 2 kids, living at home. You have to let this dude come over and watch you sign your name. Does he have COVID? We don't know because we're not even bothering to text. Like, fuck it. She dies, the kids are orphans. Great plan, guys. That's why. It didn't matter. This is fucking stupid. And this, yes, and the signatures are not on the ballots.
You have the right to do that. And if you believe in the Constitution, Mike, you should have done it. And I'll add one thing, and that's why I hope you invited me on your segment, Grant. There's a...
by the way, Gorka seems ill. He's in front of a green screen, but it's not his normal place that he's on. He usually does it from his show, like from his radio set. He seems like he's got the gunk.
Issue. Mike, aren't you curious? Aren't you curious how in 4 battleground states, the results where the president was leading at 9 p.m.
when they were only counting the votes that happened on the day, and they waited because they have Republican legislatures to start counting the absentee votes till the next morning. I was up all night. I watched this thing. I didn't go to bed at 10:30, and neither did Trump, and neither did Gorka. That's all a fucking lie, too. We went to bed at 10:30, and we were winning. Then you wake up in the morning, and all these votes came out of nowhere. No, they didn't. I was up all night. Many of you, bless your hearts, were with me on election nights. Raise your hand in the chat room if you were one of the people who was there back when we had like 300 people in the chat on the regular. I stayed up. Everybody was so nervous about how the election was going to go. And I was like, you have nothing to worry about. Trump has fucked himself into a cocked hat. It's not going to happen. He's going to lose. And I will sit there holding your hand all goddamn night. And I did. We were up. We watched Steve Kornacki all night. Stuff was coming in. There was no moment where, oh my God, the votes all shut down for 3 fucking hours or whatever. It's all made up. It's fucking... We've been through this shit before. This is just lazy. There you go.
The counting stopped. And then when they restarted the counting
after they had counted all the votes that were in person that day, which were largely Trump voters, because they all thought that COVID was fake and that it was all just a setup. And then the day after, we weren't going to hear about COVID anymore, and it was all bullshit. And the vaccines are great, and they're on their way. And then the vaccines are poison, and you shouldn't take them, and yada yada. Like, for Christ's sake.
Spurious
Thanks,
reasons.
Guys.
Suddenly, the president's lead was reversed.
Yes, when they counted all the votes. A lot of people are ahead. You don't get to stop the count when you're ahead, dumb. Oh, God, it's so aggravating. So stupid.
I'm curious. Aren't you curious, Mike Pence? How?
No, he's not, because he looked into it for months after the election. He talked to everybody. They talked to him. They were corralling him and haranguing him with all this bullshit evidence. And he was like, oh, yeah, this is all bullshit. There is nothing. I don't know why they're still talking about it, Templeton. Honest to God.
What happened? And is there any evidence that there was tampering in those?
No. Next.
Battleground states. Those are the 2 things you had every right as president of the Senate to take.
No, he didn't.
And you didn't do it. And that means your political reputation is done. It's finished.
No, actually, this is the only way he can salvage it. The fact that he did that, plus that it took him a year, but that he's basically going, Trump was wrong. I didn't have the ability to do this, and he sticks to it, is the only thing guaranteeing him a future. Because I'm sorry, but MAGA is on a I'm sorry, I mispronounced it.
Magoo
is on a hard fade.
It's over.
And that's all anybody wanted, was just for an investigation.
That's all. All we wanted was for you to just stop it so we could pretend that Trump was president for 3 more months. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi would have been president. Let me say that again for the maggots in the cheap seats. Nancy Pelosi would have been president until such time that they arranged another election, which would not have been immediate. It would have been probably till the following November. So Nancy Pelosi would have had the House, the Senate, and been president of the United States for 10 fucking months. Do they think Trump just gets to stay in office till it's punted back? Dude's term is up unless he wins. If there's no winner, neither of those fucking guys goes. Neither of them. P.S. Biden stomped his ass. Biden laid waste upon them. And every time they look to find some fraud, they find some. And it's all Trump votes. Every time they look hard enough, then the Republicans are like, don't look, whatever you do, don't look. Why would you guys want us to look? I thought you guys were on the team. No, don't look. Why? Because you'll find that we threw out some Biden votes and we counted some Trump votes that shouldn't have been counted. Stop it. That's what's going on. Trump hates the very people who are just covering their own ass.
Was somebody to look into these things and get us some answers as to what's going on. And really, I'm still not satisfied with any.
I'm not. Yeah, well, that gives me some joy that Stankfield is unsatisfied. Get used to it. Imagine, well.
Of the answers. This is Joe Manchin. I'm going to play a clip for you because now they're pushing a law to take away the constitutional authority of what you just spelled out that might.
No, they're clarifying it so that nobody thinks he has this power again. See, a lot of times, a crime will be committed, or the obvious danger of a crime being committed will occur to everyone in the legislature. But even with that amount of forethought, they'll go, that probably won't step past this line. We probably only have to, the general broad strokes, people get it. You're not allowed to do that. And then you get to a point where somebody tries to weasel through loopholes they think exist in the law. And you're like, fuck, all right, we got to batten down the loopholes now. We never thought anybody would be that big of an asshole. So we should probably patch this hole in case there's another one that comes along. That's what this is about. They just don't want any ambiguity because apparently just the peaceful exchange of power in the United States has too much ambiguity for the Republican Party.
And could have done. They're pushing this law because it is not a ceremonial position, the vice president just opening up envelopes.
Yes, it is.
Have the ability to actually do something of note, and that would have.
No, he doesn't. They're just clarifying. Just in case another asshole from your guy's corner of the court decides to come out and go, technically it doesn't say I can't elbow somebody in the groin. It just says high elbows are out of the, Your Honor, there's nothing about low sticking in hockey. It's all high sticking. How was I supposed to know he wasn't wearing a cup?
Get some clarification in all of this. They want to change this law. This is Joe Manchin, the so-called moderate from West Virginia.
By the way, the idea that they're now mad at Manchin, it's lovely.
What really caused the insurrection? They thought there was a kind of ambiguity, if you will, and there was an avenue they could go through and maybe overturn an election. Because there was. They're not protecting the electors, and you can change electors before you send them here after the election, all these things. This is what we're going to fix.
Do you think it's going to?
Yes, they felt there was an ambiguity in the law, meaning the law should have covered this, but for some reason they thought because it didn't expressly say you can't, it meant you could. So we're going to change the law to mean you expressly cannot.
Yes.
No matter who's in office.
Absolutely, it'll pass.
Dr. G, in 30 seconds, if you can, please explain why we need to be so concerned about.
Excuse me, it's not Dr. G. It's
Dr. Evil.
That's right. Sorry.
Clip right there.
I'm just going to send a message to Manchin Murkowski. You've been duped. You come from rural states, West Virginia and Alaska. The electoral college system is meant to protect the states that have rural populations.
No, it is not. No, it is not. That presumes that the highly populated states have something to gain in fucking rural states out of existence. And we don't. This is the same bullshit that we're dealing with Russia right now. Russians, we don't want any of your shit. You can sell your oil and gas until we no longer use it anymore, which is going to be quicker than you think. But we don't want your land. We don't want your rivers. We don't want to take over your cities. We don't want to convert you. We don't, like, the worst thing you have to worry about is a KFC and a fucking Starbucks. We're not interested. We're not that into you. Same thing with the rural states. California, New York, Illinois, Washington, Florida, Texas. None of us are like, how am I going to fuck up Iowa? Fuck those people in Wyoming. We got to find some way to squeeze them. Nonsense. And by the way, the Senate is definitely a way of protecting the rural states, the red states. The Electoral College isn't, or every state would have the same number of electoral votes, and they don't.
Metropolises like New York, like Boston, like LA don't control politics forever.
Yeah, Boston. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a big contingent of Boston going after Idaho.
That's the whole point of our genius system. And you are going to undermine.
Again, the Electoral College system is based on population.
System that makes sure that rural states have as much as a voice as the big cities. Guys.
Yeah, land doesn't vote, people do.
Wake up, Murkowski, Manchin, wake up. You are undermining the Constitution to the cost of your constituents.
No, they aren't. And they're not listening. I don't know why you're speaking directly into the camera, hoping that somehow they take you seriously, Dr. Evil. They don't give a rat's ass what you say, or Steve Bannon says, or Stankfeld, or Greg Kelly, or any of these assholes. They're going to do what they're going to do. And you want to know why? You want to know why? Because just, a couple of days ago, Pence comes out and says Trump was wrong. And then what happens just a couple of days late? Whoops, wrong one. Sorry, I typed in the wrong field. What happens? There we go. It'll probably be the. Yeah, here you go.
McConnell. Is it appropriate for the Republican National Committee to censure two sitting members of Congress and also use the words legitimate political discourse in talking about January 6th?
Well, let me give you my view of what happened January the 6th. And we're here. We saw what happened. It was a violent insurrection for the purpose of trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power after a legitimately certified election from one administration to the next. That's what it was. With regard to the suggestion that the RNC should be in the business of picking and choosing Republicans who ought to be supported, traditionally the view of the National Party committees is that we support all members of our party, regardless of their positions on some issues.
Do you have confidence in her, Ronna McDaniel, as chairwoman of the committee?
I do, but the issue is whether or not the RNC should be sort of singling out members of our party who may have different views from the majority. That's not the job of the RNC.
Leader McConnell. Yeah, so that happened. That part. That's the part where this whole, where they stopped. This is where his lighting went bad and his ratings took a giant shit. Because no one is listening when you and I are enjoying this, because it's nice to watch them flail. But no one is listening to these fuckwads anymore. They aren't. Joni Ernst was standing right behind McConnell when he said that. And remember what, when Trump was supporting Joni Ernst and he said she stood for, what was it?
For Iowa values.
That's right. For
Iowa values.
And if you don't know, Trump shit himself while he was trying to say the word Iowa.
For Iowa values.
He just turtled really hard. and then just lost a hold of it. He just didn't have a grip.
Values.
Right. So
God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So for our values, nobody gives a rat's ass in the Republican Party what Gorka or Bannon are saying anymore, and they're mad at each other, and it's great. By the way, Dems in disarray, right? CNN.
Yeah. So many people out there we could be yelling, wake up to. Those are just two of them. Dr. G, as always, thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
God bless you, Grant.
What a colossal waste of time for two gentlemen that don't have that much to waste, quite frankly. None of us do. No one knows how much time we have on this earth. So wasting moments blathering about bullshit like that, at least we get to enjoy watching it and mocking it and making fun of it. But imagine being called onto that show to say that shit to nobody. All right, so Mark Levin has gotten a new head, apparently. This is partly what he's using the same headshots. For the Constitution and Elections Explained. Now, you and I are confused. Yeah, I'm sure none of us know how any of this shit's supposed to work. So, apparently,
pizza
you need
or salad.
I don't know.
Which
That's the House and the
one do you
Senate.
think I'm having for dinner tonight? Well,
you're having pizza.
All
right, wait, is this a radio segment from his fucking show? It is. Oh.
I have been listening to people pile on this issue of January 6th and whether the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, had the authority to reject or to send back to various states their elector counts.
Their elector counts.
The snideness. The
wait a minute. The snideness? Look at this fucking picture. You picked it. They're being snide? You look like you farted on someone, blamed them, they accused you, and this is your throwback face. Yeah, like that was mine. I know mine.
Self-aggrandizement.
Self-aggrandizement? Why don't you go self-aggrandize something? What?
Of those who insist he had no authority whatsoever.
Back off the mic, you're breathing all over it. For those.
From former federal prosecutors to reprobates.
All right, so he's basically just drunk in the studio. Computers, retrobates.
With a computer. It's really quite remarkable.
Isn't it? I think he means me.
And so I want to circle back on this question. Because they are 100% certain he did not.
Yes.
I'm not advocating anything. I'm not a special pleader for anything.
Well, that's only because you're a coward and you know your position sucks. So you're just covering your ass so you can stay on the air. Because what you're about to do is more than likely engage in some sort of bizarre role play that he did when you fucking well know he didn't.
We're going to look at this.
Profile.
And we're going to look at it without the blinding.
We're going to look at this on the radio.
For Trump at National Review or the Wall Street Journal or these other places.
Oh, these awful Murdoch papers.
I think for myself.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains why you're coming up short.
I study these things myself.
Yeah, but comprehension is the problem.
The Constitution, the Federalist Papers, Madison's notes.
Right. And by the way, Madison's notes, he's talking about the character breakdown of Daryl Hannah's character in Splash.
State conventions, all that I've studied my entire life, say nothing about this topic. Zero. So they point to...
Well, that's because they took it for granted that everybody fucking well knew you couldn't just throw yourself in between the electors for the states and I don't like it. Send it back. Like, it didn't occur to them that you guys would elect something as someone as fucking awful as Donald John Trump.
Statute that was passed. about 150 years ago by Congress.
Congress.
That lays out a process that is to take place as their authority. Well, I look at the Constitution as my authority. But before we get there, I have a question for you. It'll all make sense when I'm done, so you got to stay the whole...
No, I'm not doing that. Okay, that's my out. I'm leaving. Nobody needs that shit. All right, let's. We did this part already. Oh yeah. So we haven't seen Lindell in a while because he's in deep shit as far as his legal problems, and he and his lawyers have been trying to bully Dominion into dropping their lawsuit, and it is not working because they have too much to gain. Namely, they get to have their own pillow company when this is all over. I don't know if you know that, but he's gonna he's not gonna be able to afford to pay billions of dollars, so he's just gonna have to give them my pillow.
What?
It's true. It is true. I don't know if you know this, Mike. I know. Why would you even? I mean, you basically are you're bluffing. You're playing poker. And you put the keys to your car that you need to drive home on the table.
What?
You did.
What?
It's true.
Wow.
I know. I was shocked as well.
Wow.
Right. Now where are you?
Wow.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. In the arms of an angel. He's losing weight. Stress will do that to you. Click on this thing. It's not clickbait at all.
I want to bring in Mike Lindell right now. Mike, before I get...
Let me bring in Mike Lindell because I need someone who looks even in the ballpark of how bagged out and fucked up I look.
So everything that's going on in Arizona and all the work you've been doing, just got to...
You know what's going on in Arizona? Nothing. Nothing. You lost and lost again, and then you keep losing, and then they keep going, why are you bothering us again? And then they go, you lost, beat it.
Because I read this, and the first thing I think of is Mike Lindell, right?
Right. You mean the failure in Arizona to change a goddamn thing? I agree.
Lindell. So how does this? You're one of the most successful entrepreneurs in this nation. You your life over to Christ to go.
Did he? In what way? I know he's wearing the cross. Is that all you got to do? You just got to wear the badge, and suddenly you're a fucking cop. Is that how we work in this country now? You don't have to live up to the principles of the thing anymore. You wear the symbol. You are the symbol, man. If you're walking through a Bloods area, put on your red bandana. If you're walking through a Crips area, put on your blue bandana. Nobody's gonna ask. Just anytime there's a fire, show up in a hat. Who gives a shit?
Being a crack addict to a successful...
He's always got to drop it too. By the way, if you had to choose which one of these guys is a crack addict, like now, he looks like he's here for the intervention.
One of the greatest companies in America, employing thousands of people.
Yes, dozens and dozens.
No, I read here, and I read that you're a domestic terrorist, sir. What say you?
It's disgusting.
Well, I don't know if I give him that much credit. Thanks, Melody, for subscribing, by the way. And don't forget, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Help us with the algorithm. If you're a troll, please type something in the chat room that isn't a racial epithet or something that will get automatically bounced out. Write something, one of those big, long diatribes like on Facebook that they do, like, "Nuh-uh, Trump's still president, and the guy at the rally was a clone of JFK that's wearing a Trump skin suit." Right.
Steve, I read that this morning, and it's if you talk to people in Colorado, they already know that they've already been declared like America's mom when they batter and ram down their doors. I say now.
I don't know what that meant. America's mom when they're battering ram down their doors. I don't know. Yeah, and apparently he's at his chiropractor's office.
After reading this morning, anyone out there that's doing anything good, like are speaking out, you better just leave your door open in the morning around 9 o'clock and have a bunch of 20 breakfasts ready for the government to bash in your door. This is.
Well, if you leave it open and you've got breakfast ready, why would they bash it in? Unless it's that good. I mean, some of those Colorado breakfasts, I'm telling you, I've eaten at some places in Denver when I work at Comedy Works. Man, you know what the worst thing you can do in those places? Put the plate on top of your head because your tongue will beat your brains out trying to get to it.
It's so horrific is what it is that they whatever.
It's amazing how if you don't turn over evidence, they're just going to come fucking get it.
All the stuff they're doing, they've been doing this for like a year and a half where they flip it and say, that's what we're doing. It's like evil is good and good is evil. I mean,
yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're saying we're raiding the police station or something. Oh God, I wouldn't have thought that this is a man whose brain had been under the influence of massive amounts of drugs at any point. I don't know where you'd get that. Yes, the Denver omelets. City by the Bay.
If everybody can just see through this. I read one part of that, Steve, where it says they're protecting government institutions and mass gatherings, and they included churches in that. Like, okay, so now you're including churches so they can brainwash and propaganda the people, feed us this.
Well, churches aren't closed anymore.
Like garbage that somehow somebody that's speaking out about the election or the vaccine or they're speaking out against school.
What the fuck what is he holding up? That's the bulletin? Steve, put it down. We can't see what it is. You're turning into Rudy Giuliani. You can't hold up printouts as proof of anything. It doesn't work that way. Get one of your asshole friends to make a look. This is so stupid. I do this all the time. Johnny Million comes on my show, and I had to make a little screen so that I could show you guys. Look, it's like he's co-hosting. I had to make a little screen here so that I could put articles that I'm looking at on the screen so that we could see how easy that is. Steve, you lazy bastard. I sat down in Photoshop and cut myself out, put my little background in there, put a little, look at this, all that stuff, nothing. You prick you. Do a little homework. Sitting there, like, it's pitiful. Stop putting shit on your mantle and do some goddamn graphics work. Whatever package you bought from that graphics company was insufficient for the job.
And
I want DHS and the FBI and Merrick Garland and Little J. You're not going to be able to count in a presidential election illegal ballots. We're sorry. We're never going to get off that.
No, look, there they did. He finally did it. Look at that. You ask and you shall receive. This is a first. Summary of terrorism threat to the U.S. homeland. February 7th. Okay. Summary of terrorist threat, U.S. homeland. February 7th. Here it is. Look at that. I can put the whole goddamn thing up. Look at that. This you can count on this being accurate from February to June. After June, we're gonna have to add more information. Key factors contributing to the current heightened threat level include the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. Hi, Russia, you bastards. Continued calls for violence directed at U.S. critical infrastructure, soft targets and mass gatherings, faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, mosques, institutions for... Okay, thanks, China. Foreign terrorist organizations and domestic threat actors continuing to amplify pre-existing false or misleading narratives online to sow discord and undermine public trust in government institutions. Some of these actors do so to encourage unrest, which could lead to acts of violence against facilities, individuals, institutions, and organizations cited above. Recent attack at the synagogue in Colleyville, Texas, highlights the continuing threat of violence based on racial or religious motivations. Threats directed at historically black colleges and universities. This is the bomb threats of recent. COVID restrictions continue to decrease nationwide, increased access to commercial and government facilities, a rising number of mass gatherings to provide increased opportunities for individuals looking to commit acts of violence. The Timothy McVeighs of the world, which I'm sure Steve Bannon says was framed.
It's only certifiable chain of custody.
Hey, Steve, they put it on screen. Put it down. The person in Denver is trying to help you. His studio's run out of Denver or something like that.
Legal ballots, they count, and all of those must count from American citizens. They all must count. And hey, whoever wins, wins. Okay? This is beyond Trump.
That's what happened.
This is far beyond Trump. This is about what this republic means. And to have the department that has allowed 2 million illegal aliens in this country, right, and is shipping them all.
No, they have not. That is a lie. Just for the record, it's a lie. It's just a lie. As a matter of fact, the Biden administration is expelling people so fast, they don't even process them. One of the reasons why they have process and release for the people who are going to stay and have an asylum claim, those people, that number's way lower, is because they're not even bothering. If you're a single male by yourself, beat it. They just dump you back off in Mexico, and then you come back again, they do it again, then you come back again, they do it again. They keep punting them out, and then they count as, one person every time they come across, but it's the same dude. We've covered this a bunch of times.
Over this nation illegally, which will be the first article of impeachment. To put this out to try to intimidate people, do you think American patriots are going to back down 1 inch on this? The same.
Well, American patriots aren't going to try and blow up churches or create mass casualty events, so why does this apply to them? And the very fact that you think this applies to them is what's fucked up. You either think patriots would kill their fellow Americans in huge chunks, like just blowing up buildings or opening fire on crowds. You actually believe that shit? Or Mike Pillow does as well?
Department that has exacerbated the invasion, initiated and exacerbated the invasion of our country, is now going to try to back us down with this crap? Are you kidding me?
Well, no, nobody's. On the one hand, obviously they're just informing the rest of law enforcement that these are genuine threats. This isn't put out as it's not just a giant middle finger to people in right-wing media. And the fact that you think it is kind of crazy. But even more so, there is a really scary nexus between your belief that this is personal and the normal order of dealing with domestic and foreign terrorism in the United States. Because either you've given up the idea, if Steve Bannon has given up the idea that there is any separation between Russians and Chinese and Iranians and whoever else trying to foment discord in the United States, create political divisions that will set American against American, all the while financing effectively the future Ted Kaczynskis and Timothy McVeighs of the world. And the fact that you have a problem with them being concerned about that or pushing back on that means that you're either all in and you're accepting of it, or you just want people to look the other way so that some of it can happen so you can prove that the border's too porous or some shit.
What do you think we could do with the 12 or 13 generations of patriots in every patriot grave throughout the world?
You mean the ones who fought and died so that we could have a peaceful exchange of power that you and your fucko friends tried to wreck?
Fought for American freedom. To fought to make this the freest nation on earth and the greatest nation on earth. We will not back down 1 inch. In fact,
and from what? Back down from what? Your dining room table? What is Steve Bannon doing? What do you mean back down? Dude yaps for a living. At least I know my place in this whole exchange. I know I'm fucking around and we're joking and I'm imparting genuine information. But I wouldn't be so fucking deluded as to think that I have some magic powers to turn people loose and make them commit acts that are in violation of their own moral and ethical stands, at least their alleged ones. This guy does. This guy thinks he can just by verbal fiat declare war on some people within the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the U.S. establishment, the corporate America, fucking Facebook, whoever he has a problem with. And the idea is that if one of his followers was to, to decide to pull an ISIS on any of these people or start mailing anthrax people, then that's, that's the idea of that's them not backing down.
We're now going on real offense. We're going to have.
Well, you've always been on real offense. I mean, obviously, anyone downwind of you knows this, Steve. And also, we're not as annoying as I find this argument, and as much flourish as I may give during my statements about it. Don't think for a second that I actually fear this asshole or think he has any value or turns anything. Like, he might be one drop in the Chinese water torture experiment, the drip drip. But at no point is Steve Bannon going to be the thing that brings about the fall of America or sets loose the next civil war. Not going to happen. The people at his table barely give a fuck.
We're filing criminal complaints, civil complaints, child abuse complaints. We're going to
yes, child abuse complaints.
Overwhelm you and hold you accountable. You can take this and roll it up and put it where the sun does not shine, okay? Because you're not going to back us off.
You tell him, Steve. Yeah, that paper that has nothing to do with you, that's about real threats, that's probably the hard part. He's just pissed he didn't get named personally. Steve, nobody at Homeland Security really gives a fuck about you, dude. They got bigger fish to fry. You don't chart. Honestly, that's the problem Steve Bannon has right now. And Mike Lindell, for that matter. Neither one of them fucking chart. They don't make the list.
Mike Lindell.
That's right. Steve, they want to put the fear. They've been doing this. They're kind of...
He almost said the fear of God, and then he recognized he has none.
Since this insanity... They put this out this morning. It comes on the heels of the greatest news we've had, in Arizona yesterday, that with this declaration to decertify the 2020 election. So isn't it? It's almost like the guy.
It's amazing that they fucking hell. This is what he's talking about, by the way. Rep. Fincham's bill to decertify Arizona election is more about 2022 than 2020. I was just tweeting right here. I believe in governmentation by tweet. Let me tell you what. Hold on. Let's see if I got something last screen. Oops. Got to be something in here. No, that's all right. That'll work. Hold on. One of the great things about doing a little bit of legislating down here in Arizona is that you can wear your hat indoors as an affront to God and the lovely ladies walking around here. I don't even bother to do this. Fuck them. You know what I mean? Shine my boots. That's what I wear. I am wearing cowboy boots. I don't have any cows, but it's hot out here. There's nowhere to graze them in Arizona. But I do have the hat, and that's the important thing. That's the way we do. Anyways, I was just about to tweet on my Twitter feed. I do need a bolo. It's true. Wait, this is a weird hat. It sits on where it doesn't even know where my fucking head is. Hold on. How about this one? Hello? Nope. Hi? No. Yeah, this is a little better. Here, this is more in line. Come on now. Now listen here. I want to tell you all something right now. We're going to decertify the election that is already, legally, this has no bearing on shit. But let me tell you, I'm up to my ass in free pillows right now. That's the sweetest thing right now. I was getting saddle sore, something awful. And And luckily, all I had to do was file some sort of, like, I just scribbled this shit down on some toilet paper and filed it. And all of a sudden, I got my own promo code on Mike Pillow's website. It's amazing. It's so good. Here comes now the latest attempt to overthrow Arizona's vote in the 2020 presidential election, brought to us by a guy who's actually hoping we'll put him in charge of the state's future elections. No, seriously. Rep. Mark Fincham. That's how you pronounce it, by the way. Fincham. House Concurrent Resolution 2033 reads like a 7-page laundry list of imagined grievances and debunked conspiracy theories, topped off by a fantasy belief that the Arizona legislature somehow has the power to decertify the results of an election in Maricopa, Pima, and Yuma counties and recall the state's 2020 presidential elections. The real ones, I mean, not the phony ones that they put forward. All right, let's check this out. Here it is, man. I filed this afternoon. Come on, check it out. Let's get to read through this. Text of bill begins on the next page. Don't confuse this. Fincham, Barton, Biascuni, Burgess, Carter, Chaplick, Diaz, Fillmore, Martinez, Guillen, Parker, Senators Borelli, Rogers, and Townsend. We all sent this shit up there. Whereas a declaration of the results of statewide electoral contests in the 2020 general election is in dispute with a plausible cause and believe that multiple discrepancies get both criminal and non-criminal in nature, and that so many questionable ballots were commingled with legitimate ballots across the state of Arizona that significant voting has sold American. Whereas the Constitution of the United States provides for enumerated powers of the federal government, moreover, the 10th Amendment identifies the enumerated powers of negative rights of the federal government while protesting vast enumerated powers of the state government, stating the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people, especially in federal elections. I mean, it don't say nothing in there about the federal government controlling federal elections. Oh, shit. Never mind. Keep reading. Whereas Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1 of the United States Constitutional Power State Legislature, including the legislature of the state of Arizona, prescribe the time, place, and manner of conducting elections, which, of course, we did. And we also granted emergency powers to the government in case we can't change them, in case they need some changing. And we were under an emergency declaration, and they did fucking change them. Shit. Whereas the definition of manner is the sole discretion of the legislature. Manner... Well, I ain't got no manners. You don't need manners. Ill-mannered, fuck you. Whereas Article 2, Section 1 clause of the United States of Arizona, whereas a guarantee clause, 15 counties within the state of Arizona conducting an election November 3rd, 20, do I hear 55, sold American. Whereas the legislature, whereas blah, blah, blah. Whereas Arizona election, are you going to start everything with fucking whereas, son? Whereas the Arizona Election Code requires election officials at polling places points where ballots are received by United States Postal Service to authenticate the signatures of in-person voters. Well, shit. That fucks your whole thing. Patterns of analysis of early voting return envelopes revealed that 33,000 such ballot return envelopes images were 2-copy, 3-copy, 4-copy duplicates originating from 17,000 unique voters with no duplicates reported. Maricopa County's canvass report. And where, so this part is said to have happened, but didn't happen. Pattern analysis. That's, by the way, that's I got a pattern analysis farm over here. Wade doing this. I grow all my soybeans all in a certain pattern based on crop circles that I believe will draw the attentions of the MK Ultra aliens that have been probing me for years. All right. Yeah. All right. Anyways, he filed this. You know where it's going? Fucking nowhere.
Marketing propaganda war going, okay.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I left my hat on. That ain't right, ladies. I apologize. Right now, I'm going to switch over to a, that's impolite. How about this now? Hello. No, that's terrible. Put this shit on there. What kind of cowboy nonsense is that? What's this? Oh, great. I look like John Denver at a rodeo. He became... What's this? That's better. You are shunt. We are kicking you out of the Pennsylvania Dutch. You are a horrifying addition to our home. This is filth. Doing crack is a shunnable offense. It's terrible. All right, I'm back to being me. Hold on. There's one last. That's terrible. What is that? That's supposed to be a fucking hat? It looks like I look like a weird Mickey Mouse. That's not right. Okay, here we go. Back to the show.
You know what? This isn't Nazi Germany.
What?
They want to just put the fear in us that they're going to come door to door and.
Well, no, it isn't Nazi Germany. That is true. There is no Nazi Germany currently, thank goodness. Thanks to the bravery of the very people that I was talking about earlier, who Steve Bannon wipes his ass with every time he, uses their name to excuse Trump's behavior of trying to seize the election for himself and stop the peaceful exchange of power. So fuck you on behalf of all them. Also, you get due process in this. So even if they come and they serve a warrant, they've had to get it through the courts, and they show up at your door. If they execute that warrant and they take anything that isn't theirs or they don't have the right to take, you can sue them. So piss off.
Arrest patriots for nothing, or put handcuffs in them like they did in Colorado with all these.
They put handcuffs in them. Now that's cruel and unusual punishment. I gotta say, I am not for that. I mean, you can put handcuffs on someone, but if you're putting them in them, that's Guantanamo shit, and I'm not for it. That's just wrong. Especially if you put them in open. I mean, it'd be one thing to try to get them in there closed or halfway through. You know, when they go halfway through? Owie.
If they're homeschooling their children, they put handcuffs on, rip one of their daughters down the steps by their hoodie, but they don't get charged. It's fear, fear, fear. Well, we don't fear them anymore. It's we're seeing all across.
Well, why would you, dummy? You're not the person that they're going after. You're just in a lawsuit. You're not even brave enough to do some of this stupid shit yourself. You're outsourcing it. That's why other people are getting dragged. That's why other people are getting raided, because they listened to your fart fumes, did what you told them to do, and now they're legally fucked. Meanwhile, you're like flying around the fucking country with your pillow money.
This country, everybody, is courage. People, when I kept putting out the message, hey, don't save your courage for a rainy day because it's pouring outside. We're right now. This is the big storm. This is it right here. It's historical.
Yes, the storm is coming, and the Great Awakening. Also, Q bullshit. More Q stuff. Also, Q.
There's too many. Everyone, all the stuff that they have done to ruin our country is just helping. Everyone's seeing through all the propaganda, going, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Why are you bashing my friends Dorian? All they did was speak out that this election was the biggest crime in history. And
really? Because a lot of people have said that and haven't had their door kicked in. You sure there wasn't one more extra step that got their door kicked in by the... You think it was just talking? You think these are just... We've got free speech cops now? Is that what's happening? Is that what you really believe, Mike?
Manifested from there.
Because if you don't, and that's not true, and the people that are getting their door bashed in are actually hiding or evidence and evading subpoenas and the like, then what you're doing is you're bearing false witness against the cops that are carrying this out and the people that gave them the orders, and that's a sin.
These garbage mandates. Steve, I went to 6 states in the last 5 days. You would get to some states, like I was in Nevada, and I'm going, you would swear that you're still back. You know, everybody had to have masks, and it's just like you go right across the river into Arizona, and it's like
I'm sorry. Shit, there's a river between us and Arizona? I thought we had water problems.
It's a time warp. It's like it's whatever the government puts on you in there.
They left it up to the states, fucko. You're not making a great case that Biden's a dictator if different states have different rules and it's okay. The citizens of those states have a say. If they don't like how long the mask mandates went on, for example, that's going to affect who they choose in the next election. You think?
State or that county.
Hype train.
And people are realizing
Level
that
3
the
hype train
government
happening.
is just control, fear. Put fear in you, more control, more control.
So Arizona isn't what you're saying?
That paper that came out this morning and said, we're now the terrorists, give me a break.
I want to bring in Mike Lindell.
That's first of all, that's the end of it. the paper did it? That didn't fucking name drop you, stupid. A small number of threat actors. How we're responding, how you can help. Report potential threats, 9/11. Yeah, they don't name check Mike Lindell either. Yeah, this is, I mean, I'm looking through this paperwork because he's like, they're calling us terrorists. They're calling us terrorists. Why would you think they're talking about you? Unless this is part of your fucking plan. COVID-19 increased next one. Okay. People in 2020, let's see. Must have been domestic violent extremists to justify violence since 2020 and could continue to inspire extremists to target government, healthcare, academic institutions. Domestic violent extremists have also viewed attacks against U.S. critical infrastructure as a means to create chaos and advance ideological goals, and recently aspired to disrupt U.S. electrical, communications, critical infrastructure, including spreading false or misleading narratives about 5G cellular technology. Yeah, the fucking dude in Nashville. And again, who are you if you take what that asshole did in Nashville personally? If they're going after a guy who would blow up his fucking Winnebago in downtown Nashville to stop a 5G tower or the offices of AT&T or some shit, if they go after him, I must be next. What? Why is that your jump? It's very confusing. All right, so next up, by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. This is a, you know, as we go through the crazy pantsness of Trump world, the hangers on, the desperate attempt by these folks to still have their argument have any kind of meaning, worth, or any of that shit. This is, I want you guys to know that there is nothing to fear. This, like, you have nothing to worry about with these idiots. Want me to prove it to you? Guys, this is a video called, "Is Hunter Biden a Lobbyist Now? The Biden administration is funding crack pipe distribution." Okay, so I'm sure this will be fascinating. I think they're talking about, you know, drug legalization, very Ron Paul, Rand Paul kind of position. But they're funding crack pipe distribution. And no wonder Junior is pissed. He paid full price for his, and he's not a real billionaire. That's gotta upset you. That's gotta be aggravating. You pay full price, and now they're handing him out for free? No wonder he's mad at Biden.
Well, guys, just when you thought it couldn't get stupider,
here he is. Just when you thought it couldn't get stupider, Don Jr.'s on the scene. Guys, ugh. And how many times in that first 4 seconds, well, let's back up. It's only been 4 seconds. Look at how many times he looks at his notes in 4 fucking seconds. Watch.
Well, guys,
right here.
Just when you thought it couldn't get stupider, just when you said, you know what, maybe I don't want to buy a
three times in 4 seconds. 5.
Ticket off of this planet. The Biden administration is apparently going to fund crack pipe distribution to advance racial equity. I mean, it seems like maybe Hunter Biden has finally found a calling as a lobbyist that's not actually.
Are you just mad that your dad didn't figure out a way to get Pervitin over the counter?
Corrupt, involving foreign nations and, you know, other governments and absolute insanity, but something that is close to home. So apparently the Biden administration
look at him reading. It's adorable.
Is set to fund the distribution of crack pipes to drug addicts as a plan to advance its racial equity. The $30 million grant program, according to the Washington Free Beacon, which closed applications.
Hold on. 30 million grant, Washington Free Beacon. I'm sure. But yeah, here you go. Washington. 2 days ago. Oh, and this is, well, here the Daily Mail says it. Hold on. Here you go. This is the Free Beacon. This is what he's talking about. Biden administration to fund crack pipe distribution to advance racial equity. So he's basically reading it verbatim. So that's, in case you were wondering what Don Jr.'s entire channel on Rumble is for, besides providing him with snort money, like $500 a video so that he could have something, he can get some booger sugar. It's to read the Washington Free Beacon to people. $30 million program will provide smoking kits to vulnerable communities. The Biden administration is set to fund distribution of crack pipes to drug addicts as part of its plan to advance racial equity. The $30 million grant program, which closed application Monday and will begin in May, will provide funds to nonprofits and local governments to help make drug use safer for addicts. Included in the grant, which is overseen by the Department of Health and Human Services, are funds for smoking kits supplies. A spokesperson for the agency told the Washington Free Beacon these kits will provide pipes for users to smoke crack, cocaine, crystal meth, and any illicit substance. Said the kits aim to reduce the risk of infection when smoking substances with glass pipes, which can lead to infections through cuts and sores. Applicants for the grants are prioritized if they treat a majority of underserved communities, including African Americans and LGBTQ plus persons, as established under President Joe Biden's executive order on advancing racial equity. Democratic-run cities such as San Francisco and Seattle have distributed smoking kits to residents. Some local governments, however, have in recent years backed away from their smoking kit programs over concerns that they enable drug use. Louisville, Kentucky, for example, allowed convenience stores to sell smoking kits but later banned them. Legislators in Maryland ditched their distribution plan after facing backlash from local law enforcement and African American leaders. The Sergeant Clyde Boatwright, president of the Maryland Fraternal Order Police, said the government resources are better spent on preventing drug abuse than making it safer. If we look at more this isn't about the criminal aspect of drug abuse. This is about the health nature. So Health and Human Services is recognizing that there's a contagion problem and it spreads through communities because people share a crack pipe and then they bring it home and they kiss their wife or children or what have you, and they pass along awful. Funding for a harm reduction grant program is provided through Democrats' American Rescue Plan. Senate passed along the lines of Vice President. Okay, wait a minute. The grant program will last 3 years and includes 25 awards of up to $400,000. Declined to specify what is included in the smoking kit. Similar distribution provide efforts, mouthpieces to prevent glass cuts, rubber bands to prevent burns, filters to I see. So they're not passing out crack pipes. They're passing out little rubber stems you can put on the end of it so you don't burn your mouth, open a sore, and pass something on. Rubber bands, same reason, to wrap around them, and filters to minimize the risk of disease. For pot, to cool the smoke. Biden's son Hunter is a longtime user of crack cocaine. No, he isn't. He's a recovering addict. It's against federal law to distribute or sell drug unless authorized by the government. Well, they authorized and it's not for sale. Ew. Now, that's the Washington Free Beacon's take on it. Now, there's a Daily Mail article that deals with the exact same thing. $30 million grant program will distribute funds to nonprofits and local governments to make drug use safer and advance racial equity. Included in the grant program is purchase for included in it is that not $30 million for that. That's for like syringes or Narcan and shit like that. Spokesperson for HHS said this included in these kits will be pipes for users to smoke substances like crack, cocaine, and crystal meth. Said the kits will serve to limit the risk of infection. Typically, users smoke out of a glass pipe. Okay, are they talking to the same person? Part of the harm reduction plan. $30 million, yes, because you don't want them to die. There's a lot of dead people, so you're trying to fix that. Included in the grant is money to purchase safe smoking kits, supplies. A spokesperson that included in these kits could be pipes for users. That's because it's up to the state. Like crack cocaine. Like, hey, could the state put shit like that in there? Yes, they could. Do you put them in there? No, we don't. Applicants for the programs get priority if they serve underserved communities. Handing on pipes is also intended to prompt users to smoke rather than inject themselves with some substances like meth, as injection is far riskier. See, it's easier to save someone from addiction if they survive the addiction. Now, if you're a Republican and you're pro-life, what you want is as many people to die of their drug problem as possible because you're just culling the herd. Right? I mean, that's what pro-life is all about.
On Monday will begin in May, will provide funds to nonprofits and local governments to help make drug use safer for the addicts. So we're going to encourage crack use. We're going to make
No, they're going to smoke crack anyways. The idea is that you're trying to minimize the amount of infectious disease and death so that you can intervene, because the idea is that government intervention doesn't work with a dead person.
That crack use is distributed equally amongst society. Again,
Well, no, the interventions that they're talking about exist in wealthier communities. There are more opportunities to intervene than there are in poorer communities. People use longer and more extremely in poorer communities a lot of times, including places like Appalachia, an underserved community as well. And if you can slow that down some, you'll have a chance to actually save some lives. Now, I know that their idea is that drugs are kind of a natural purge, that the upside, the silver lining of the fentanyl and opioid crisis is that Trump and his buddies get to purge themselves of the dude who used to crash on your couch. I mean, if more of these addicts would just hurry up and die, we could all just get on with it. And it would be scarier for people. You want people to die so that people don't try stuff because the fear of death is the reason why they don't try it, instead of just advancing drug curiosity, which is a problem. So what they're hoping is that these people just die. That's what they want. By the way, don't do drugs. I don't do drugs at all. I'm never going to do drugs. I'm not interested in doing drugs. I don't want to do drugs. I'm not going to do drugs. I think you're plenty on your own. You don't need any of it to be better. You don't need any of it to be more interesting. Work on yourself. It's all within you. Everything that drugs could release is there naturally inside you. Do the fucking work.
They're part of the focus group for this.
And end of PSA.
Did he receive free samplings? Because again, it does seem like
they actually give a shit about addicts
on his calling. But can this be real? Can any administration be this?
President Donald Trump's administration introduced the first national plan on substance use disorder treatment as part of its annual drug strategy, a document often emphasizing abstinence and supply-side policing. The Office of National Drug Control Policy, ONDCP, which I think is who hired RoboCop after he moved out of Detroit, released its annual strategy document on February 3rd, outlining the same usual three priorities: prevention, treatment, and policing of the drug trade. What's different this year is the addition of supplementary national treatment plan for substance use disorder to address increasing access to treatment and closing the gap. Central priority for the treatment plan is the expansion of opioid substitution therapy to the 9 out of 10 U.S. Americans who need it but are still not receiving it. The strategy specifically aims to boost the percentage of practitioners certified to administer, prescribe, and dispense buprenorphine. Buprenorphine for opioid use disorder from 4% to 10%. It does not recommend eliminating the waiver administration, Interventions for a growing number of people's experience suggest stimulant-related harms play roles in the plan, suggests increasing access to treatment programs. Surprisingly, the strategy throws support behind services offered at syringe exchanges. Oh, look at that. Why are they encouraging? Why is the Trump administration encouraging heroin use and the injection of meth? Isn't that what's happening? Guys, apparently stimulants, someone in the Trump administration thinks that stimulants deserve some, surprisingly, Look at that. Throw support behind services offered at syringe exchanges. The plan is likely not referring to those related to actual syringe, given the ongoing ban on federal funding for such efforts. But the mention of syringe service programs at all is a departure from the 2019 strategy, where no mention was made of them. This time around, Trump's plan identifies peer workers as assets and increasing treatment accessibility because they're effective in introducing naloxone distribution and training and in supporting syringe service programs. Look at that. It also recognizes SSPs. That's funding for NGOs that will do that. That's what they're talking about. Guys, it's almost like the Biden administration is worried about crack now, as opposed to just cocaine.
Then again, you look at Joe Biden, you say it probably makes total sense. They can be this stupid. They can be.
Well, your dad was supporting syringe programs for the very same reason that they would be doing this. And again, this isn't, this is people who are going to do the drug anyways. You get these kits because if you use your own and you have your own, you can replace your own if it breaks or is destroyed, then you're less likely to share a mouthpiece with somebody else who might have a disease. And that kind of gacks up downtown's healthcare system.
This inept.
They
can also make this a priority and a focus to spend tens of millions of dollars on rather than, say, fixing the supply chain crisis. Maybe not.
Why are these related?
World War III with Russia. Minor details like that. Like maybe not screwing up the Afghan withdrawal. Magoo. Can't be bothered. Let's focus on something close to home. Crack addiction.
This was passed in the American Rescue Plan.
A crack pipe for all.
In April of last year.
A crack pipe for all, right? What is going on here?
I explained it, but I mean, you got shit in your ears, so I don't know why you probably don't understand. Your dad did it with syringes. They're doing it with pipes because Health and Human Services recognize that the passing mouth to mouth of a glass pipe versus, say, a joint, for example, it has a higher risk of passing on pathogens. And those pathogens spread through a community, and in spreading through a community, they fill up hospitals and the like with people who are sick and dying, and that takes resources away from everyone else. So there's a small price to pay to not have to allocate like a ventilator later.
So the guy that pushed for imprisonment of drug users, Joe Biden, very clear throughout his history, is now pushing crack pipes onto the street. I mean,
which one are you for? Are you for what he used to do, or you would say he used to do?
Say you're a drug dealer without saying you're a drug dealer. Do you think the big guy is getting 10% for this one? Do you think maybe he's in on it somehow? Because like otherwise,
oh God, this is very labored. This is a lot of work. This is a lot. He's putting a way too much effort into going, oh, crack, Hunter, crack, and crack. Never mind the fact that this is a small aspect of this $30 million allocation for the possibility of grants, by the way, that aren't all taken but are there if they want them. So it really, if cities and states want to do these pipe programs, it's up to them. They apply for a grant to do it. There's federal funds available for to prevent deaths, essentially, which I know he's against because, I mean, they're addicts. Why would you want to keep them alive? It's the Rush Limbaugh plan. Everybody deserves to go to jail for being an addict or a user, except him.
And figure out a way to make this make sense, other than maybe to keep a population controlled and subdued by use of crack. I mean,
you don't sedate a populace with crack. Just for the record, I'm just saying. You're way better off with pot and fluoride, I think. If that's your current conspiracy theory, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that crack wouldn't exactly turn the public into subservients.
Stranger things have happened, and when you look at the other decisions they're making, you got
No, there's officially nothing stranger than thinking you could subdue a populace with crack.
But this is insanity. And you'd love to believe that it's a joke. But it's not. Our leadership.
Well, no. It's a real thing. Your response is a joke, though. See, we get to enjoy that. We get to watch a grown man try to make political points using something he absolutely is incapable of comprehending while reading notes given to him by, I guess, the Heritage Foundation and the RNC?
Class should be impeached. This is the kind of thinking that ends civilizations and certainly ends great nations. You'd think it's a...
Why? Why? What must you think of all people that you think that this kind of addiction is just, I mean, we're one step away. All they got to do is start handing out free crack pipes. Great opinion of the average American. Dudes, if you start giving away, that the only thing that is keeping people from not taking up crack is pipe access.
From the Babylon Bee, but you'd be right.
He's looking for UPI, Universal Pipe, UPA, Universal Pipe Access. Why his eyes are red and half crossed? Because he's baked. That's why. Or coked out of his fucking mind, or both.
You'd think maybe the Onion would do this, but it's not the Onion. You.
Whoops, 1 second. The Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2018 permits use of funds from the Department of Health and Human Services under certain circumstances to support SSPs, with the exception that funds may not be used to purchase needles or syringes. So you pay people and then they buy them. HHS released guidance for state, local, tribal, territorial health departments that will allow them to request permission to use federal funds to support SSPs. These are syringe service programs. That's what an SSP is. This bill passed in 2018, signed into law by Donald Trump. 2019 went into effect. Each federal agency, CDC, SAMHSA, HRSA, develops its own guidance for funding recipients regarding which specific programs may apply and its application process. Can federal resources be used to support the implementation of SSPs? The Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2018 permits use of funds from the Department of Health and Human Services under certain circumstances to support SSPs, with the exception that the funds may not be used to purchase needle or syringes. Like, you buy your own, we'll give you the money. You use the other money, we'll pay for you to pass them out. What parts of SSPs can federal funding support? Let's see, personnel, testing kits for viral hepatitis and HIV, syringe disposal services, navigation services to ensure linkage to HIV and viral hepatitis prevention, treatment, and care services, including antiretroviral therapy for HCV and HIV, provision of naloxone to reverse opioid overdoses, educational materials, including information about safer injection practices. Just teaching. Print out some pamphlets on how to give yourself an injection of drugs safer. I'm sure Junior's for this. This is like something out of the Onion, guys. Overdose prevention and reversing opioid overdose with naloxone, HIV and viral hepatitis prevention, treatment and care services, mental health substance disorder treatment, including medication-assisted treatment and recovery support services, condoms. So I was passing out condoms to reduce the risk of sexual transmission of HIV, viral hepatitis, and other sexually transmitted diseases, communication activities, planning, and non-research evaluation activities. Are there restrictions on what? Sure. Process of setting up the approval. You get a grant. Oh, grants. They're giving out grants. Oh, like they've always done? What a dipshit.
Make it up. I guess they're coming up with a job for Hunter. Maybe he'll figure out a way to get 10% to the big guy. Who knows?
Dude, you've already said that part. You already did the 10% to the big guy Hunter Biden job thing. This video is 3 minutes and 49 seconds long, and you've already repeated your talking points 3 times. I mean, maybe that's right out of Mein Kampf or something. That's where you learn.
But it's not a joke. And I'm beginning to wonder if maybe POTUS is getting 10% from the Mexican cartels, who are probably thrilled.
I don't know if anyone is getting 10% from the Mexican cartels. I've never met the Mexican cartels. They seem like a lovely family.
From the Mexican cartels, who are probably...
Yeah, sure. From the Mexican cartels. Which, by the way, is, if you don't know them, they're a singing group. The Tartels. Fabulous. They had that that song like, don't step on my crack pipe, don't step on my crack pipe, ooh, ooh, like that. And they had like 4 of them that danced and 2 of them that sang. And then one of them would always swing forward and go, crack pipe, crack pipe. I mean, the originals are in Spanish. I don't understand any of it. But the Mexican Tartels are, I mean, they're the best version. Because I don't know if you know this, the Tartels are the most successful singing group in history. There's one in every language. Sorry. The Mexican. Dude, back up. You're 350.
This is getting 10% from the Mexican cartels, who are probably thrilled about this and maybe getting to cut it with Chinese fentanyl while Americans die.
Fentanyl. But sure.
In their beds and in the streets due to this kind of addiction. We're just going to say it's fine. No problem.
Well, yeah. Fentanyl doesn't get mixed with crack, by the way. I mean, if you had an opioid problem and you were trying to tilt people away from dying of opioids, stimulants would be one of the where it's like, hey, if you're going to do shitty drugs that burn your insides out, do the ones that aren't going to kill you right away. So we can at least talk you out of it in a couple weeks.
Nothing to see here, folks. These people are sick. Equity?
Wait a minute. Sick in quotes?
In crack use? Give me a break. But I get...
He's just jealous. He's just jealous he had to pay for his.
It's a topic that's close to home for the Biden administration, so maybe that's why they're all over it.
That was fascinating. That was worth it just for the Mexican cartels, I think. And I'm, oh yeah, we're good. I feel like we got still some time. This is, Danny Balls had on Dr. Scott Atlas. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, where they put the clips up and I deal with them. Some days it's a tooth pull, kids. If you don't recall, I did a, let's see if I can find this. Yeah, here it is. I'll play this for you right now. Enjoy.
Hi there. I'm Scott Atlas, quack specialist. Scott Atlas, quack specialist. Today we're going to debunk some of the worst medical myths out there. You know, for America. Let's start with masks. Masks are not only
Why is this delayed so much? We have to fix this. 3, 2, 1. There we go.
effective against the COVID virus, they may be dangerous. And of course, they are a violation of your God-given constitutional rights. Not only do we suggest at the White House not wearing a mask, but we think you should have a funnel instead. Scott Atlas, quack specialist. Next up, social distancing. Ooh, social distancing is horrible and it's tearing apart the fabric of America. Not only do we at the White House suggest you don't socially distance, we think the only possible cure for COVID is if the entire country human centipedes themselves together. While we're on the subject of social distancing.
Yes. By the way, yes, that did say make ATM great again.
Who needs them? Not the president. We recommend exfoliating with a cheese grater right before sex. Everyone's waiting for a vaccine, but are vaccines really the cure? No! Vaccines are a tiny bit of virus. And as the president says, go big or go home. We suggest exposing yourself to the most infected person you can find. If I'd been in charge during Ebola, I would have recommended fellatio. That's right. Find someone with full-blown Ebola and give them a blowjob. Call it an Ebola job. Scott Atlas, quack specialist. And while we're at it, can we all agree, stop signs are bullshit? I'm Scott Atlas, quack specialist.
Scott Atlas, the quack specialist.
Right. So you get the point.
Hi
that
there.
said, so hi there. So I'm on my way. I'm making it. So that's Scott Atlas, who was in the White House, if you'll recall. And he's got a new book out, A Plague on Our House.
Mandatory?
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory.
There's a lot of moms and dads out there who are Democrats or on the fence who are saying, I certainly hope they wouldn't mandate vaccines.
No, look, what I'm saying is that I don't think you can mandate it. But you can't say everyone has to do this. But you would, just like you can't mandate a mask.
Really, liar in chief. Joe Biden there spewing that nonsense for the past 2 years. We heard it on the campaign trail like every other.
Well, and by the way, the federal government does not mandate masks except on like airplanes and the like, which is temporary. They can't make you wear it the rest of the time. If you get off in a state and there's no masks, they don't have any right to do it at all. And by the way, the mandates are going away probably within the next 3 weeks. Get used to the idea. And as so far as the vaccine, there's only been a testing mandate. You can either get tested or you can get vaccinated. Now, when it comes to federal employees who interact with the populace, they have to get vaccinated for a lot of things so they don't spread a disease and you don't get it from the federal government, and therefore you sue the government and people can steal taxpayers' dollars because people showed up and coughed an illness into their fucking face. Or we spend all this time training a soldier to be a great pilot, and then one of his buddies who works in the ground crew doesn't believe in vaccines, and we've wasted $21 million on a dude who dies on a ventilator. So
He said no mandates. You can't mandate it. But we all see.
Well, they didn't. They mandated the tests.
All this major government overreach, whether it's from a city mayor or a Democrat governor or
Federally, you can't mandate these kind of things. Cities and states can do whatever the fuck they want. And you guys used to be for this. The Republicans, don't you guys believe in Republican rule? Don't you believe in state autonomy, states' rights? Now you're against it because those states can take that upon themselves?
Joe Biden himself forcing masks and vax on millions of Americans. This is what we told you last week. Pfizer now urging the FDA
Pfizer asked FDA to expand the use of COVID vaccine to kids under 5. Okay.
Expand eligibility for kids under 5. That's right. They want to put this stuff in kids that are like 4 or 5 months old and up. It's sick. Shock.
Well, one would argue so is wanting them to die from an easily preventable disease because you smoke QAnon.
There are some, not all but some, liberal governors who are beginning to lift mandates. And why wouldn't they? If you're following the science, stuff we've shown you on this.
Well, the Omicron variant is different from the Delta and from the Alpha and the wild type. And so time moves forward. So you fuckers can't go, see, we've been telling you this whole time. Look, I told you, walk across the street. Now that the light changes, now you're going to cross the fucking street. That's the argument we're seeing here. Oh, you're going to wait for the crosswalk sign to change before you walk? I say walk across and, at rush hour when everybody's zipping by and I'm the asshole. I see.
Time and time again. Think about it. You'd know masks don't work. The lockdown didn't work. We told you that. Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, yes, they did. Yes, they do.
Report. New Jersey Democrat Governor Phil Murphy says he's going to lift the state's mask mandate very soon. Murphy said he's going to lift it for public schools, all the students, second week of March. Great news. Hey, California, why don't you do the same? Michigan, all these.
Well, they are. They're going to over the next few weeks because it's factually changed. The volume of people who've gotten vaccinated lowers the number of people who will carry a more virulent version. You won't carry the Delta around, even though Omicron snuck by. The rest of them aren't going to wipe you out, and they know this. So,
states, get to it. Joining me now to discuss the state of the pandemic, which in my mind should.
By the way, just for the record, I got tested again today because we got to test before we get on the boat tomorrow, and I'm negative. I have never gotten COVID. It's official. Even the cough gunk that I had, nah, just fucking some flu something. Nope, no COVID. Never got it.
what's called the final phase, but of course Fauci's saying we've got 4 or 5 more phases of the pandemic, is the former COVID task force.
Plandemic. That's going to squeak by. He's just going to throw the word plandemic out there like it's saying MSDNC and not recognize that plandemic means that it was done on purpose. Now, when it all started, Trump was in charge. And if it was a plan, he was obviously in on it. He'd have to be. And if it wasn't him, then he's arguing that the Chinese did this on purpose, that they created a bioweapon and released it, in which case Trump was president when America was attacked with a bioweapon and hundreds of thousands of people died, and he dragged ass on responding to it so he could get a trade deal done with the people who sent it here. I don't know why we're picking on Chamberlain anymore.
Advisor under President Trump and the author of a brand new book, A Plague Upon Our House, My Fight at the Trump White House to Stop COVID from Destroying America. Let's welcome back to the...
Why would you worry about a hoax destroying America? I don't know.
I'm Dr. Scott Atlas.
Thanks, Anita.
Doc, welcome back. The book's got a great title.
Not too far off. I had to shoot this in a hurry. Even during a fucking pandemic, I've seen worse wigs on SNL. I had to go down to Star Costume and buy that wig. I'll have you know, that was for Sexy Liberal.
I wish your team and Trump's team were still in there right now, because I have a feeling we wouldn't be in the state we are in today when it comes to our economy.
It would be far fucking worse.
Our children are going through when it comes to these overreaching mandates, which should have been gotten rid of long.
He has no control over it, fucko. Scott Atlas and Trump would have no control whatsoever. Oh, my ring light blinked for a second. Yes, Lord. They'd have no. He couldn't do anything about it. If states were worried and they were concerned about their constituents and didn't want, I don't know why, but didn't want their future voters to be dead, and they wanted a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate to do that, the federal government wouldn't have any ability to stop them from doing that within the state. Maybe you'll say that.
Ago.
Yeah,
Would you agree with any of that assessment?
Well, of course. In fact, the man.
Well, of course. That's why I'm on Newsmax right now. Or is this Newsmax or is this RAV? Yeah, Real America's Voice. This is the same OAN. That's right. The people that carry Bannon's show.
Should never have been in place to begin with. I mean, the vaccine mandates, there's two issues. One is, of course, the civil liberties issue, but the medical basis of having a vaccine mandate is really, it's just not there. And I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why. Look at polio, for example.
Midnight. 95% plus of high-risk people in the U.S. have been vaccinated. So I'm not.
Yeah. And when were they vaccinated? Under which administration? Which administration actually rolled out a plan to fucking do it? And that 5% of the people who are in big trouble, if they get it, who aren't vaccinated, who are gacking up the hospitals all over the place, who did they vote for? Scott?
What they're talking about. Why would you mandate a vaccine for people who don't need the vaccine? I mean, that's
because you can't determine who needs them and who needs it and who doesn't. Just because you're more likely to get in trouble if you have comorbidities, that hasn't stopped a bunch of healthy people from dying from it, fucko.
Contraindicated. In fact, that's against medical principles. It's also unethical to mandate.
No, it is not.
Force or even give a vaccine to a child who does not have a significant risk from the illness.
Determine significant risk.
I mean, if you take.
Yes, an excellent point. Scott Atlas is a radiologist.
Data, which, the people keep saying the science, yes, but they keep denying and not looking at the data. I mean, the data shows and we've known this now for almost 2 years. This is not learned over the past months. Almost 2 years now, we know that healthy children have extremely low risk from COVID and nearly zero.
Yeah, primarily from the alpha type. And then Omicron started hitting a bunch of them because it was more, young people were more susceptible to it because it advanced. And the Omicron tended to be less damaging to adults, for example, but statistically more damaging to children. And how do you know the next variant won't follow along those lines? And you don't have to worry about it if they've been vaccinated. They might get the sniffles, but they're not going to die. Fuck
anything serious. And so you don't inject a child for a disease with a vaccine against a disease that they don't have a significant risk from. Not only that.
Again, define significant risk. Because in a lot of cases, it's a fucking crapshoot. It's a coin flip. It might look like you're fine, and then it kills you. That's significant risk. Because you don't know who you're going to catch it from, and it's spreading asymptomatically. That's a significant risk.
Of course, the vaccines are experimental drugs. I mean, why do we say that? Because safety.
Let me put it in terms that maybe these assholes can understand. They don't believe that you're under significant risk from people with guns. That most people with guns are law-abiding. American, they're just following the Constitution. They got a God-given right to carry a gun. And yet nobody can carry one on a fucking plane. Because we're not going to just trust you to be responsible with a gun on a fucking plane. Because if you fire it, even if you're doing a good job, and you blow out one of the windows, you can kill everybody on the fucking plane. Moron. So we make specific limitations on those kind of things. Now, what are the odds that the average person who brought a gun on a plane would misfire it randomly? What? Same number of kids dead from COVID? But you're going to allow that to happen more often and therefore raise the number of possibilities?
It on a vaccine typically takes 5 years to compile.
Right.
Obviously, we don't have that.
8 months.
So you're taking a child.
Wait a minute. Excuse you. For fuck's sake. Trump was the one bragging about all this shit. Because of Operation Warp Speed.
Captain's log.
And injecting them for protection against an illness that they don't have a significant risk from if they're healthy. So the only.
All right, if they're healthy. What number of kids are healthy? Which in percentage in the United States? You're going to look at just obesity rates? Or we're going to only vaccinate obese kids? What if you only do the obese kids because they've got a clear comorbidity, and a couple of them because they're not morbidly obese, or they actually got slightly more protection because their body's resilient against it. Meanwhile, a skinny kid dies because you're like, well, you were skinny. I thought you'd be fine.
Other reason you might consider it is if you want to use healthy children as a shield for adults. That is not just immoral. That breaks all conduct that is ethical from doctors.
Shh, don't tell the teachers' unions that, Doc. Don't tell the teachers' unions that, because that's all they spew is, we got to protect our.
Yeah, it's not just the teachers. It's the parents. It's the grandparents. What 8-year-old wants to go, yeah, we could have gotten you vaccinated, but we didn't, and you brought home the disease that killed grandma. I did? Yeah. How'd you let that happen? Well, you have the freedom to do that. We believed in your freedom, so we decided not to vaccinate you. Why? Was it going to hurt me? I don't know. But grandma's dead. Yeah, well, that's your fault.
Teachers, the educators could get sick from the kids, so put the masks on. Yeah. And we see all these damn pictures of Democrats with no masks in a classroom with kids with their masks on. Yeah. I'm sick of it.
But it's not.
You mean one?
It's not just the hypocrisy, really. When you look at the data, it's already proven a year and a half plus ago that the teachers do not have any higher risk than people outside of school.
Yeah, but that's also before Delta and before Omicron. In the beginning of a disease where they were like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Fuck it. Let's go. It's just fucking. No. It's going to ruin the stock market. Let's get going.
Do not spread as frequently as adults.
Also, where the fuck is this dude? Is he at a photo shoot? He's got a stack of clothes over there. He was sneaking into someone's hotel room, ransacking their room, and decided to do a Skype call.
And so the fact of the matter is that if you wanted to design a low-risk job, you'd want to be a teacher. Okay, so these teachers are either too.
That's because of the wild type and the alpha variant didn't pass through kids very much. The Omicron did.
stupid
And if there hadn't been a
teach our
vaccine,
children.
if there had not been, if the teachers themselves largely hadn't been vaccinated, Omicron or a variant near to it, like Mu or especially Delta, could have gotten to them through children. Fucking hell.
Or they're liars.
They don't even try.
There's no in between.
Wow. Good for you. I love you to spit in truth. That's what this show's about. All right, Scott, thank you. Before we
More like gagging on truth.
where do we find the book and tell us about it? What are we going to experience if we
Let me hope COVID hysteria unveiled. Again, this dude was one of the people in charge of the fucking thing.
read A Plague Upon Our House?
Sure. I mean, there's really the book.
Yeah, I decided to use a biblical title as a man of science because I knew I'd sell more books to morons.
Written for three reasons. One is really to set the record straight about what happened in the White House and in the task force, some of whom these people are still in charge of our health policy. It's a disaster because they weren't prepared scientifically. They weren't looking at the data. They weren't
prepared? Why weren't they prepared? I mean, I thought, I'd always heard that Obama had put together a pandemic response team. They weren't prepared? Why weren't they prepared? We had a pandemic response team. Did something happen to the pandemic response team? I've got to go read. Seriously.
thinking like scientists, and I think Americans need to know so we don't have this kind of low-level bureaucrat in charge and posing like an expert.
You mean like you?
Secondly, we needed to set the...
By the way, Trump hired this fucker because he was a naysayer on Fox News.
Straight on the facts without the lens of politics and without the filter of the media, without the censorship that we thought we would never see in the United States.
Tell him, Danny Balls. Tell him, Danny Balls. Yeah, thank you. Censorship, media, politics, other deep state, other buzzwords. Yeah, cancel culture.
We're not a free country.
CRT, critical Regeneron therapy.
Failed
Stop
the
it.
American public, and the book is not subject to censorship unless it's blocked from being sold, which right now it's available on Amazon and everywhere else.
Oh, you mean the big tech companies that have it out for conservatives?
Books are available. I think people need to read this if they want to read the truth. If you're afraid...
Yeah, I don't need to read this. And I'm not afraid to read it. It's a waste of fucking time. It's basically going to be a printed up version of his interviews about this subject in the spring of fucking 2020.
The truth, don't buy the book.
There you go, Dr. Scott Atlas. Thank you so much. The book again is A Plague Upon Our House, My Fight at the Trump White House to Stop COVID from Destroying America. As always, a pleasure. Thank you, Doc. See you later.
Thanks, sir.
And it's weird because COVID has not destroyed America. As a matter of fact, the American economy and the American worker are far and ahead, doing better than the rest of the world. Even with the inflation we're experiencing, even with with energy prices and used car prices making, inflating inflation beyond what they genuinely are. Even with all that, we're doing so much better than the rest of the world, as economically especially, but even as a country functionally. So, and oddly enough, you were there and things were going to shit, and then you left and things started getting better. So, all right. No, we don't burn the book. There's you have to buy a copy to burn it. Real America, talking to somebody now. Biden's voting rights push intensifies. Justice served in trials of Rittenhouse Arbery killer. Okay. Oh, we're out of time. Hold on one second. Let me go back to me. Thank you guys for joining me. I've got a plane to catch tonight at midnight, and I still have some packing to do. So I'm going to gather my stuff up. Tomorrow I will not have a morning show, mainly because I will be still on a plane or going through my wellness check to get on the boat. Timing wise, it's like 11 a.m. Eastern time. So no afternoon show, but hopefully tomorrow night I'll be on at my regular time, which will be 7 o'clock Eastern, or no, 6 o'clock Eastern. And some of it I might have to shuffle around because of our shows, but I will let you guys know. I'm also curious, and this is something, folks, that I have considered in a couple of situations where I know I can't do a show because of timing, like staying up late and pre-recording like a 2-hour go through like I do. I wouldn't be able to interact with a chat because there wouldn't be one, but I could pre-record it and then release it on the day for you guys to hang out and talk about stuff and that kind of thing. I could do that occasionally. I'd rather do them live, but if I can't, that might be a solution when I'm doing stand-up, for example. I will say hi to Alice Cooper for you, Doc. And yeah, I think just to give you guys, you know, the gathering space to come on and do that. I think it's something I could do, right? And there's a couple of things I've wanted to do that are a little more like long form and take a little more study, so I could do those kind of things and post them in my normal time so you guys could look at them. I think that would be helpful. I don't know. It's a thought. I at the very least, I just want to be able to give you guys a show if for any reason, technically, I run aground and, you know, some days when I just simply cannot do a show and I want to still have something there. So I would rather, you know, like I said, if I can't do it live, that's what it is. This is not pre-recorded. This is real. Of course, how would you know? Because if I'd recorded that, I could have just said that. It's terrible. What are we going to do? It's now 5:21 on Tuesday afternoon and Pacific time. And so that's how you know. It's really me. Anyways, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. And the next time I see you, I will be at sea. That's right. That's right. I'll be out on the ocean. And so the next show will look a little bit like this. I'm going to try and keep it as minimized as much as possible, so I'm not making you guys get sea legs or barf. Anyways, take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for liking, subscribing, supporting the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Fire up some Venmo if you want to help me pay for an excursion with my girlfriend on shore. This is a great way to do it. Venmo is lovely. Take a picture with your phone and go, here, get a Starbucks on board or whatever. If I'm worth a cup of coffee to you for any of the stuff I've done, there's multiple ways you can send that love my way. If you can't afford to do it, don't worry about it. Fear not. Take care of yourself, and I will see you tomorrow.